All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Before I start this video, I wanted to say thank you. I I honestly absolutely appreciate you guys. The support has been immense. We just hit over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is that is wonderful. And I really owe you guys a debt of gratitude. Thank you. If you haven't already subscribed, this is your opportunity to do so. So today, I wanted us to have a real conversation. I wanted us to have a conversation regarding a topic that we all, as long as you are from Nigeria, you cannot run away from this. You cannot run away from this conversation. There's a saying that no one runs away from his or her shadow. And what we try to do in this channel, the real essence, the number one priority of this channel is to get people to become critical thinkers. That's what we care about. It is important that we start having critical conversation about the issues that confront you and I. And we cannot continue to run away from the issues that confront you and I. And if we are going to grow as a people, it is important that we start having uncomfortable conversations. So when you look at my board, the title is Biafra versus fixing Nigeria versus fixing Igbo land. So I want you to think, as a human being, there comes a time in the history of any human being, you have to look in the mirror. You have to examine the options in front of you within the realm of reality and ask yourself, what is the most achievable target within reason, within reality? And you can dream all you want. Even if you want to go to heaven, you still have to deal with the reality that you must have to die in order to get there. Socrates, one of the wisest men who ever lived, he said, an unexamined life is not even worth living. Some people believe that the solution is Biafra. Some people believe that the solution is to fix Nigeria. Some people believe that the solution is to fix Igbo land. The question for you is, what do you believe? Even if you don't get anything from this channel, I want you to begin to ask questions. I want you to begin to think. The era of hiding is gone. We only have one life to live. And we better live that life on absolute truth. We better live that life being able to confront the issues of our time. Being able to say the truth the way we see it. Because at the end of the day, we are only passing by. And before you realize it, you and I will be gone. The question is, what did you do with your life while you were here? Did you support the truth? Or did you support lies? is a binary choice. So I just wanted to examine the three options and see which one is the most realistic and achievable option. And before I get into this, it is well documented that Igbos have suffered lots of persecution. They suffered a lot of discrimination, and it's still going on, whether in Lagos, whether in the north. Anybody who knows the truth cannot deny that basic fact. I have been a victim. I lived in the north. I lived in Kaduna for a few years. I lived in Abuja for a few years. I've stayed briefly in Lagos. You cannot deny that. Emotion, tribalism aside, if you are a man or woman of truth, you cannot deny that the Igbos have been highly persecuted in Nigeria. I have seen someone go from Igbo land and go to the north and change his name in order to get a job, in order to have a sense of belonging in his own country. The list goes on and on. Many times our properties are destroyed, businesses are destroyed, but we never get anything back from the government. You can't even hear a government speak out. A government that swore an oath to protect every life. Tinubu is aware of what's happening in Lagos. Are you going to hear from him? Hell no. Buhari was aware of what was happening. Did you ever hear from him? Hell no. So we know it. We know the truth. I'm not about to spend the time in this video to rehash the evident suffering of Igbos in Nigeria. If you stand for the truth, you know the truth. The Bible says you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. But with all of that being said, I am a strong believer that if charity begins at home, truth must also begin at home. I think that as Igbo people, we have found it so convenient to use the fact that we are marginalized in Nigeria to defend our own ineptitude. So many times we hide. We use it as an excuse to absolve ourselves of our own blame. You might say, how do you mean? Well, let me shock you right now. The last budget of Imo State is 470 billion in 2022. The last budget of Enugu is 166 billion. The last budget of Abia State is 160 billion. Anambra just passed the budget. It's 460 billion. As an Igbo man, I have a question for you. Where is the money? Why are you not campaigning vigorously for the accountability of the money that I just mentioned? I need you to think. Why are you not calling your fellow brothers and sisters out for squandering the collective future of ours? The money that I just mentioned to you, do you want to know the truth? if that money is properly harnessed, if it is wisely utilized, you and I will not even notice the discrimination, the persecution from the federal government. That is a fact. Again, this is not to diminish what we are going through in the hands of the federal government. But the idea of this video is to let you know that you cannot select when you want to be truthful. You cannot choose when you find it convenient to make excuses. Nigerian government is not responsible for stealing our budget. The thousands of checkpoints that collect bribery from you and I in the East is not from the federal government. The workers who go home at the end of the month in Imo State or in any other state from the Southeast without being paid, that is not from the federal government. The road in my village that is so painfully dilapidated and hasn't been touched for years, that is not on the federal government. The professors in our universities who are holding our brothers in school on ransom, collecting money from them, selling handouts that they did not write, some of which they copied online from Google, that is not on the federal government. The exorbitant hospital charges from the hospitals in the Southeast, that is not from the federal government. The market seller who buys something for 10 naira and sells it to you for 200 naira, that is not from the federal government. Now let's discuss Biafra. I understand that in the heat of the battle, I understand that when you face persecution and discrimination and tribalism, there's always an urge and the tendency to feel that if I can just go my separate way, if only I can just have my own country, I will get it right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That is not true. Number one, look at all the countries in Africa that went their separate ways. They have absolutely nothing to show for it. Number two, if Biafra for some reason, through miracle, some reason, come tomorrow, guess who will rule you and I? Rochas, Hope Uzodinma, or Hakim, or Jose Okano, the same people who have held you and I in perpetual penury and poverty. I need you to begin to think. The Bible says knowledge is profitable to the wise. You need to start thinking. As a little child, growing up in the Southeast, I have seen countless people come and take the face of Biafra. So many of them. Some of them come and hijack the movement. Some raise money from that. They exploit our collective emotional gullibility. Some of them make so much money and they leave you and I with this false sense of hope that never comes to fruition. Some of them travel abroad. Some of them get settled by the federal government. And they own houses and mansions in Abuja. After exploiting you and I. So I need you to begin to think. Think of how many people who have come as the face of Biafra. Where are they? You need to think God gave you brain for a reason. Do your research. Find out where they are. I think that the mistake an average Igbo man is making is that you think that if Biafra comes tomorrow, you and I will participate in the government. I hate to be the bearer of bad news again. That is not going to happen. The same people that are dominating the political space today will still govern you and I. Do you know the only thing that will change? It's like when you do substitution in football. You remove Messi, you put Ronaldo. That's what will happen. That same persecution you suffer from the federal government, you will suffer it from your fellow Igbo man. That is a fact. Let me use Imo State as an example. If you come to run for election in Imo State governorship election, an Owerri man does not even want an Ngobala man to be governor. That is a fact. That's not persecution from Yoruba and Hausa. That is from your fellow Igbo man. So having established these facts, again, as a people, it's important for us to look at what are the achievable options given the situation we find ourselves. What can we really make out of it? If you believe Biafra is the way to go, fine. That's your choice. But I am here to tell you the truth, not what you want to hear, but what you are not used to hearing. The reality is that Biafra may never come. And even if it does, I have outlined to you the reasons for which nothing will change if it comes. So continue to walk with me through the corridors of critical thinking. You ready? Number 2, fix Nigeria. I do believe that it can be fixed. But whether we have the capacity, the people to do so, the people that can jettison tribalism, the people that can shun religious sentiment and have the testicular fortitude to do what it takes for a country to emerge, whether we have such people, I doubt it. Number 3, fix Igbo land. In my honest opinion, I believe this is the most realistic and achievable